Hey guys, so in my last video I just finished up my new sink, which I really like. But what I need to do now is I need to rebuild my pantry. And if you remember my old pantry, I gave it to a viewer in Florida, so unfortunately for me, I need to build a new pantry. So I'm going to do something very similar to what I did for the first pantry, but I've learned a few things since then. And so one of the things I learned from was my cardboard pantry build. And from that, I learned that there's probably an easier way to fit things in without guessing and recutting so much. And that's just by putting them in and using glue to kind of set the shape and then screw it in later. Well, we'll see if that works. We'll give it a shot. All right, so first thing I want to do is I want to use this bolt right here, the seatbelt bolt, as a mounting point. So I'm going to put a wood piece right here that I could start building everything around. And I'm also going to use this right here as probably the second mounting point. I haven't decided yet. We'll see as I'm building this and how it goes. But I feel like I could also put, little L brackets right here that'll hold to the inside. So we'll give it a shot and make it up as I go along. All right, so I got this really strong piece in, and it's with the seatbelt buckle, so you know it's going to be a very firm, strong hold. It's not moving at all, so I'm going to use this as my primary brace for everything. And of course, there's some, things resting on this also that'll give it some extra support. But you can see I put the Reflectex back on. So now I'm going to start building up the sides and the back wall and things like that. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to use this device right here to kind of measure this contour. So it'll, because it is an odd shape, of course. All right, so that looks like the shape of this contour here, so I'll cut the wood accordingly. All right, so here's the base. So this is the base of what I want to do. I cut the contours here and the contours here, and now I should be able to build around it. I forgot to mention I'll be using as much scrap wood as possible. All right, so next up is this piece here. The idea is that I would put it up there, have this down here, and now I need to have supports in between these two. Okay, so next up I have this backing that I cut. I have to cut, 5-6 times to get it to fit. But here it is. So now I'm going to start mounting things to this. Okay, here's what it looks like. So now I'm going to put some L brackets right here to mount it up to this piece right here. And then from there, I should be able to mount everything else to this backboard, which I'm going to firmly mount here. All right, so there's a bit of a slight angle there. So if you put just a 90 degree, it won't fit. So I'm going to take this bracket, I'm going to bend it a little bit so that it will fit. All right, so I got that bracket in. So this is held into place right now. Now let's put up some walls. All right, so using what I learned from the cardboard build, I learned that I could actually use this hot glue gun to hold things in position that I want them to be in. Which was really hard for me to do, trying to drill it in and, trying to keep the shape that I want. So I'm going to hold it in with glue, and then I'm going to drill it in. Okay, so you can see the brackets. See, now that everything's held in tight, I could actually fashion the bracket so that it'll fit. But you could see it's not a square because there's a slant to this. So now I could just bend this back to however I need it, and it's already held in place because of that glue. So I'm just gonna have to bend this. I have an L bracket, and I'm just gonna bend it. All right, that looks pretty good now. It's about the shape I needed to bend it. So now I'm just gonna screw this in and it'll hold everything tight. All right, let's put another bracket over here. All right, so for this side, I use this type of bracket. I just found it was easier to bend than that guy. That guy's a little bit thicker. So there's no other reason why I use a different bracket. It's just easier to bend. So let's put up the side walls and the top. All right, I forgot to push record, but for the top, I did the same thing, put glue, and I put a good amount of glue because, you know, the weight of this is a little bit different because it wants to fall down. This shelf had something to hold on to. So I'm gonna hold it while it dries. All right, looks like it's actually holding, so that's good. So I'm gonna put on a couple brackets so that it holds its shape. Then I could build the other walls. Problem is I don't have screws small enough. So gotta find something shorter because this is a thin piece of wood. All right, so I got that up. So it's not strong yet, of course, because, you know, there's just too much torque bending this down right here. So I need a sidewall right here to give it some support, and another sidewall here that I'm going to mount to this block that I have there. And then I can actually take it all off and then work on it outside. Okay, so here it's very odd shape, so I'm gonna use a piece of cardboard to cut a template for that, to try to line it up as perfectly as I can. Okay, so now that I got a decent, strong enough frame to work with, I could take this off and then I could work on the walls outside. All right, so it's not my best work, but all that stuff is on the inside, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. So I'm gonna screw these guys back in so that it mounts up to right there. Then we'll start working on the frame outside. All right, so now you can see this wood is thin, you know, it's not a heavy wood. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of border wood on it, and that way we could put on the outside trims. All right, so I got that little lip on, and I got a little lip for the top. Now let's install it and kind of measure things out before I put on the frame. All right, so that's how it looks. So now I need to build the frame that goes right here so it covers up some of this ugliness. So I want it to cover all the way and hopefully try to shape to this form the best I can. And then cover up this side and all that good stuff. So now I have like something I could drill on the frame too. All right, so it's an odd shaped thing, so I had to make an odd shape cabinet, but that's the way it looks. Let's fit it up to see if it looks okay. All right, stupid me. I forgot about the shape of this guy. So this area was supposed to cover up all this ugliness. So now I'm going to have to cut a new shape. All right. I think my attempted use of scrap wood has just went too far this time, because I'm just patching stuff together at this point. But it looks all right. And I didn't pay a lot for the wood. All right, so I got this eye hook and a wing nut. And of course, my eye hook is too short. That's been my day so far. Nothing's working. All right, so I'm gonna improvise a little bit. I'm gonna use some wire ties. It's not ideal, but it'll get the job done. And I'm tired, and I want to use what I have in my inventory. And of course, the wire ties are too short too. By golly, I'm gonna make this happen with what I have in inventory, because now I'm going with with zip ties. All right. I am tired of running to the Home Depot. There. I'm going to use 2 just to make sure it's real good. All right, I got twisty ties up there, held it here, mounting bracket in there, and you can see I made that little hole so I could get to it. And all of that is mounted to the seatbelt buckle, which you can no longer see because I covered it up. So when I get around to painting this, I'll fill up these holes and the screws and stuff like that, and it's going to look a lot better. It's not going to look like I put a bunch of scrap pieces of wood together, which I did. One last thing to do before I'm done, and I need to mount the paper towel holder. And this is my old paper towel holder, and let me show you the problem I was having with it. So it goes in like this, and when the car is driving, it vibrates, and this thing will start shaking, and by the end of the trip, I'll have a whole bunch of toilet paper on the ground. So these are okay for home, but they're not good for your campers. So I got this guy right here. This is a Simple Tome. Simple Tome. It's kind of a weird name. But anyways, we're gonna see if this solves my problem. All right, the idea behind this guy is that you're supposed to be able to tear it with one hand. And because you tear it with one hand, there's a grip, and that grip is going to prevent my paper towel from coming out. Oh boy. As if my day couldn't get any better. Let's make you see if it works, if it even fits. I was going to mount it right here, but I think down right here will be an even better spot. So I'm going to mount it underneath right there. All right, so it looks like it goes in like this. And then put the screws in there to hold it. All right, there's no way you should be using a power tool for this, but I'm tired. And I'll just be careful. Just had too many things go wrong on this cabinet build. Hopefully this will go right. All right, that's the way it looks. You see the flex? And that flex should hold my paper towel in place. We'll give it a shot. All right, I think that's gonna be just fine. Put in the paper towels. All right, it's got that nice grip. Rip it with one hand, just like they advertise. But more importantly, see this, because of that grip, it's not going to roll while I drive, the vibration, or when you go off-roading in your camper. So that's pretty good. All right, it's been such a day full of just one bad thing after another, one hiccup after another. Again, I forgot to put the handle and the latch. So right now there's no way to open it. Let me put on the latch. And the idea is that this latch will also be the handle, and it'll also be the lock. So it won't be flying around. Of course, to add to my misery, this is upside down. I put the latch up instead of down. Oh, God. All right, so If you don't want to put a little handle, you put a lock. It'll be your lock and your handle. So now I'm done. All right, now it's Miller time. The mosquitoes are eating me alive. Just speed bump after speed bump. Oh man. Yeah. I'm gonna enjoy this Miller time. Shout out to Riva in Florida. She is the person that owns my old pantry, and the reason I needed to build this one, frankly, I think hers is probably better.